All right, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back here to another episode of the Easy Money Sports Podcast. Of course, me myself as always. Sanders here. Got my guy Dupree here with me.
What's going on? What's going on, baby? How we feeling? How we feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. Can't complain. We flying through the year of 2025, man. We
Yeah.
in September now. Some people like to say this is somewhere around the best time of the year.
Yeah.
We got football back, so of course the NFL's back, college football is back, it's up and running. Man, baseball season is winding down. Get ready to get into the playoffs there, and same thing with the WNBA. I think if I'm not mistaken, WNBA playoffs start sometime next week. Man, as that's going on, before you know it, it'll be time for NBA
Yeah.
and college basketball to start. So we getting right into that area of the time of the year where, especially for my ladies that got men, they got time today. They got time today.
It's a lot of games. There's a
They
lot
ain't
of
got
games.
time. Not right now. But K-State and Iowa State playing. Not right now. I'm watching Farmageddon. This
Yeah.
is why they in Ireland. Don't worry about all that. Not right now. We got
Not right now.
Packers and Commanders playing right now. Not right now. Hold on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We got all that going on, man. But man, how you been living though, man?
I've been good, man. I've been good. Busy with the start of the season, camp and everything like that. So getting adjusted to the new role and all that type of stuff. So it's been good. It's been good, man. Just day by day, taking it one day at a time, dog. That's it, man. Happy to be back on the show. Ready to get this episode rolling, man. It's been a minute. So
Definitely been a minute, man. Yeah, been a minute since we done an episode for sure. I've been trying to keep things busy with just putting out a little content here and there, man. I appreciate all the likes and the support that we've been getting from that. We appreciate it. So we 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 all got our own little lives, man. So it's hard to do them sometimes like the way that we want to, but man, whenever we can, we'll definitely keep pushing out these episodes for y'all, man.
sure.
But we gonna get right into it. We'll start off, man, talking about football. Of course, it's probably gonna be a football driven episode on this one. So I'm a football fans. Hopefully you'll like this one. Um, we'll go right into the NFL, man. Of course, week one kicked off last week. Well anticipated. A lot of people was trying to see what these new faces and new places was going to be doing. These rookie draft picks. What was Cam Ward going to be up to? What was going to be Abdul Carter? All these guys who got drafted in the NFL draft. Some of the rookies from last year that didn't play much or play at all, like J.J. McCarthy and Michael Penix Jr. Wanted to see what they look like. Can Jaden Daniels repeat what he did in Washington this season like he did last year? A lot of stuff, man. But it was an interesting week one. A lot of great games.
Yeah.
Some surprises and everything like that. Some games that came down to the wire. Just anything you can think of pretty much kind of happened in week one. And it was just week one. That's crazy. Man, what was your biggest takeaways from what you saw last week for week one?
One, the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. It's week one, but the Pittsburgh Steelers look alright. Now, granted, they had to come back to win the game against the Jets on the road, but the fact that they came back, Aaron Rodgers throws 4 touchdowns in his Pittsburgh Steelers debut. The defense stepped up and made some plays when they needed to. Pittsburgh definitely shocked me in a good way. Just not knowing, right? Not seeing Aaron Rodgers in preseason, not seeing him with those receivers in preseason. Some of the guys on the defense, the Jalen Ramseys, Darius Slayers of the world, some of those guys really didn't get a lot of burn in the preseason. So you just don't know, when you have these veteran guys who have been proven. You have an idea of what you're going to get, but when you don't see the product together, as a whole, you just don't know. And to see them and what they did and coming back and winning that game on Sunday, Pittsburgh might be a force to be reckoned with. And then I'll just go one more team, man. Really it's two teams, um, but one more team game, I should say. The Ravens and the Bills. Um, those two teams, I mean, that might be a AFC Championship preview what we saw on Sunday night. That was
That
a great.
that might be game of the year already, and
I
it's
mean,
only week one. I mean,
already,
I know it's
already
just week one, but
that already that's definitely a candidate, and like you said, it might end up being game of the year, and we still have 18 more weeks to go. Um, the Ravens look good. The Bills look good. like now, obviously, the Bills coming back and winning the game gives you, you know, some cause to pause for the Ravens and their defense and their ability to be able to ice the game when they needed to. Um, but the Ravens and the Bills, man, those two squads right there, if not the two best teams, maybe in the NFL, the two best teams probably in the AFC, especially given how Kansas City kind of looked a little bit too um, in their opener against the Chargers. But the Ravens and the Bills look really, really, really good. So those would be my two takeaways, man. The Steelers might be for real, and the Ravens and the Bills, those two teams right there might be poised for a collision course in the playoffs.
yeah, for me on my week one takeaways, I mean, I got to go to the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah,
Man, Daniel Jones looked amazing.
yeah,
You know, maybe it's Brian Daboll in New York. I don't know, man. Maybe it could be them, but man, Daniel Jones looked good, man.
yeah.
22 for 29, 272, threw a touchdown, no interceptions. You know, he didn't turn the ball over, no fumbles. Um, hats off to him. The type of game that he played, man. That was you hadn't seen Daniel Jones play like that in a minute. Just
No,
like a
no.
clean game like that to not turn the ball over, to pretty much have balance. Very efficient with the football. Of course, they ran the ball pretty well with Jonathan Taylor too as well. But just surprised at the fact of like how well that he played. And
Hmm.
another team I'm gonna go to, same game that you mentioned earlier, but I'm gonna take the team that actually kind of fell short, and that's the New York Jets. I know it was a loss.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure most of those guys in that locker room aren't there for more victories. They probably would tell you they should have won that game. In all honesty, but I mean, man, Justin Fields was looking nice. Him and Garrett Wilson, it was almost looking like Ohio State again, bro. It was,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
they had it there. You can tell that Aaron Glenn is whatever he's telling them guys there. And I know it's week one. We keep saying that. I know it's week one, but whatever the message that he gave them, going in since the day that he was hired and over the off season, going into OTAs and mini camp and training camp, it's pretty much showing on the field. I mean, outside of a couple of turnovers that they had on special teams and the mixed extra point that they had, that you can say that pretty much kind of cost them there too.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, they look good, man. Defensively, they was flying around a couple of
Hmm.
times. Got some pressure on Aaron Rodgers. Just couldn't quite finish the deal like they want to. But I mean, that they could be a scary team if that's what they're gonna look like week in and week out for
No
sure.
doubt.
Because um, yeah, it looked like they had the Steelers dead in the water for a bit, man. But Aaron Rodgers pulled out some usual A-Rod magic, and the vets for the Steelers,
Hmm.
showed why they're all there, and they keep adding more vets. Now they
Yeah.
he'll purpose. So it looks like the Steelers are for sure going all in. Those are like my two big takeaways is just from those two teams, man. Of course, dealing with football. in the game of football, especially in the NFL, week one is where it seems like the most injuries end up happening. And they they happen, but it sucks when it ends up being like some key guys pretty
Mm-hmm.
much on some of these teams, man. So a whole lot of injury concerns. We got so many that we can name off, but we'll just start with a few. We'll go over into San Francisco, which they're dealing with a plethora of injuries. Now let's just add it on to the list. Not only are they going to be down Brock Purdy now, out for a few weeks with his shoulder injury. Now they also have to deal with not having their star tight end and George Kittle out for a few weeks on IR with a hamstring injury. So from low, moderate to high, how much of a concern you feel like that is for the 49ers with George Kittle?
I would say high, and the reason why I say high is because George Kittle is what most tight ends are for quarterbacks, is a security blanket. Is a guy that that you can throw the ball to. He's a reliable target. Um, and when in doubt, you can go to your tight end, and he's gonna get the job done. Um, so with him being out, not just as a pass catcher, but he's probably the best blocking tight end in the National Football League as well. So losing him in the passing game and in the run game as a play caller for Kyle Shanahan, I think that's going to be a big blow for them. Um, and in San Francisco, it seems like over the last 3 years, man, like their stars, their guys have been the ones that have continued to get hurt in some of the most inopportune time. And with Brock Purdy going down and you having a backup quarterback in there, it would be great to have a guy like George Kittle who can kind of help him get settled into the football game. Um, and also, if you're going to lean on Chris McCaffrey in the run game, then having him will help as well. Without him, man, I'm not saying that it's over, but it's definitely going to be tough. It's definitely going to be tough for the 49ers and for that quarterback situation without having him on the field. So I'm going to go high.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you on that. I'm gonna go high too. At first, I was gonna keep it moderate, but the Brock Purdy news multiplied it a little bit times
Yeah.
a lot. Not having Brock Purdy now, and I think if I'm not mistaken, it'll end up being Mac Jones. That's going to be the
Okay.
backup that's starting for these next few weeks, and I think the reason why you got to make it high is because San Francisco's already banged up coming in. I mean, there's no Brandon Ayuk for the time being. Um, I mean, as great as he is, you just never know with Christian McCaffrey here
Yeah.
lately. If he's going to be available, and then how healthy can he really be? Um, and so now you add in, like you said, or adding in a guy who can also catch out in the backfield, but is just as important as an offensive lineman
Mm-hmm.
is for their run game. It makes it tough, especially the way that that Shanahan offenses ran, how they like to run the ball with the zone runs, outside zones, inside zones. Uh, you need your tight end to be very well involved in blocking in their schemes for sure. So the fact that you won't have a George Kittle out there for the next at least 4 weeks has to hurt. On top of it, not having your starting quarterback, so it's great that they have a capable starter that is a backup in Mac Jones, who has started in the league, been to the Pro Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, it would be so nice to have a guy like George Kittle out there. But now not having George Kittle, not having Brandon Ayuk already, now you have to lean
Yeah.
on Christian McCaffrey, which you kind of want to ease him back in, especially after the season he had last year, where he was dealing with, dealing with injuries as well. So, I mean, of course, you got young guys like Ricky Pearsall, and
Yeah.
you got a guy that's been there for a little bit in Jawan Jennings, but respectfully, they're not George Kittle.
No.
And so it's gonna be tough. I think it helps them at least for this week that they got the Saints. That kind of helps them out a tad bit. But yeah, after that, I mean, I don't know who's on their schedule, but just you're just wondering now where's the offense going to come from
Yeah.
in San Francisco, and do you really want to lean it all into Christian McCaffrey like that when he's had his fair shares of injuries? So I think that's for sure super tough for San Francisco. So I don't know, but we'll have to see for that. Hopefully, Kittle can stay on track and get back as soon as he can within those 4 weeks of being on IR. Man, looking down there too, we'll go out to the NFC South and touch down with the Atlanta Falcons, and we got Drake London, who left the game in that tight game against Tampa Bay this past Sunday with that shoulder injury. Seen him out there in practice a couple of days, so I guess he looks like he may be on track to play, but a shoulder injury is not a great injury that you want to have as a wide receiver, especially the type of wide receiver he is that likes to go up and make those 50-50 catches. How are you ranking the injury concern for Drake London?
I'm gonna go high here as well, and the reason why I'm going high is because Darnell Mooney is not in the lineup. So if you lose, you already lost Darnell Mooney. He's out with the injury as well, and then you lose Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan. We have some guys there. You got Raymond McLeod, Casey Washington. You got some other guys there, but being out your top two pass catchers from last year, that's tough. That's tough, especially going to Minnesota and what they just did in that defense. You're going to need your guys. This is a game that the Falcons could win, but it makes it a whole lot tougher on Mike Penix if you don't have Drake London out there. So I'm gonna go high here because of already missing Darnell Mooney in the lineup at receiver.
I initially was gonna go high on this, but looking at like the past couple of days, I don't know about today, but at least I saw yesterday with Drake London being out there on the practice field, that kind of gave me some hope and some thought that he's probably going to give it a go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a tough guy. I know, like he went to SC, and so everybody probably think, oh, California, cool kid, but
Yeah,
that's a tough dude, man. That's a tough dude. Don't let all that fool you. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
That's a tough guy. So I'm gonna go moderate just because I think that he'll tough it out there because he knows that if he's not out there with already being down Darnell Mooney, that's gonna make it tough for Mike Penix, man. I mean, to be down your two best pass catchers, your top two pass
mm-hmm.
catchers, and have to, pretty much heavily lean on Bijan Robinson and trying to get Kyle Pitts involved. And, of course, yeah, you have Ray McLeod, but, you know, he's not, Ray McLeod is not somebody you want to be your wide receiver one, just
Yeah,
respectfully. Yeah, that's just what it is. So I think like if he wasn't really participating in practice, I would make that a high. But him being out there participating, even if it was limited, kind of lets me know that I think he's gonna go out there and try to play. So I'm gonna put it as moderate right now because I think that he'll play on Sunday because they're gonna need him. I mean,
yes,
just to put it in layman's terms, they're gonna need him. As nice as it would be to maybe just hand the ball off to Bijan 30 times, 25 times, that wouldn't be ideal.
no,
And you can only do so much with Kyle Pitts. And so you're leaning on guys like Casey Washington to try to step up, for Kadero Hodges to step up. So um, they're going to need Drake London out there for sure. So I'm going to leave that one at a moderate just because
okay.
him being out there practicing kind of makes me feel a little bit better about what's going on. So I think that he'll be fine. And then the last guy we got here out in Denver, another tight end that's key to their offense, Evan Ingram. He went out with a calf injury against the Titans last week. Didn't come back. Had pretty much a quiet day. Uh, the Broncos, albeit in the win, kind of struggled offensively. Bo Nix threw a couple of interceptions
Mm-hmm.
compared to how they looked in the preseason. It was a bit of a struggle win for him. What do you think about the concern level for Evan Ingram?
Here, I'm gonna go. I was going back and forth between moderate and low. I'm gonna go moderate. The Broncos have a lot of weapons still, um, even with Evan Ingram going down. I do think they'll play better, but that Broncos defense is legit. So because of that defense being legit, and 20 points might win them a lot of games.
Yeah, yeah,
Because of the defense, they might win a lot of games scoring 20 points. So because of that, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go moderate. I don't think it'll be too much. Um, I don't think it'll be too big of a hit for Denver. Obviously, to lose a guy like Evan Ingram, you don't want to do that. That he is a vital piece of what they're doing out there. Uh, but you still have Cortland Sutton, Troy Franklin. You still got your running backs. You got Harvey. You got J.K. Dobbins, Marvin Mims. You have some guys that can do some things for you. Like I said, you can lean on handing that ball off and playing defense if you need to. If you're Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos, so I'm gonna go moderate.
yeah. I was stuck between low and moderate too. Just wanting to see. Um, so I'm looking right now. They don't even have Evan Ingram listed on the injury report. So
Okay.
that must mean I guess all signs are pointing up. But um, I'm gonna go with moderate on this one too as well, just because even if they didn't have him, like you said, they still got Mims, still got Cortland Sutton, Troy Franklin. Um, they got their running backs back there with Harvey and J.K. Dobbins, and like you said, if they don't score enough points, or if they 17 might win them a game, uh,
Mm-hmm.
20 would dang near guaranteed because who's gonna score on that defense
Yeah.
like consistently
Yeah.
right now?
It's gonna be
I
tough.
yeah, I don't know. Because they're so tough to score against, especially if you're already offensively challenged. You pretty much help them defensively as well, and so all they really have to do, or when I say they, is really more so Bo Nix. All you have to do is just take care of the ball. They'll find the guys and they'll get points on the board, and heck, the defense might even score a touchdown for them or something like
It
that. So
might.
they're very capable of doing that. So I'm not like super concerned, with Evan Ingram, as far as like team wise. Now, maybe if you had him on your fantasy team, I can kind of understand, but but just team wise for what it means to the teams and the concern for it, it's moderate. I mean, you don't want him to go down because obviously that's another weapon that you'll have out there. But would they be all right without him? Probably so.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it is what it is. Uh, Man, so we'll go ahead and right onto it. For the pick'ems this week, um, we didn't do pick'ems last week for the NFL for week one. I thought I just kind of let it play all out and let's see what
Yeah.
everybody looked like because that could be that could have been a big mulligan. We could have been real off on
Yeah.
that one. So I just kind
Here
of
we
let it
go.
slide. So now
Oh man.
we'll start here from here on out with the NFL, man. So we got 4 games on tap here. Man, all crucial games for sure. So first one we got up, we're gonna go over into the NFC North. Two teams who had a rough week one to their season, losing to their respective divisional opponents. So now one of these teams are trying not to go 0-2, especially 0-2 in the division.
Mm-hmm.
We got the Chicago Bears traveling up to Detroit to play the Detroit Lions. Who you got in this one?
Talk about a must-win game for both squads. Chicago looked solid on Monday night. They did. They looked improved. I'm gonna go Detroit though. I'm going Detroit. I think Detroit at home. I think they are the more veteran team. I think they know they have to win this game to be able to keep pace with Green Bay and with Minnesota, having both of them won their games this past Sunday. So I'm gonna go Detroit. I think Detroit finds a way to win this game. I think it's gonna be a good game, but I got Detroit.
Yeah. Chicago did play solid last week. Detroit made me pretty nervous
Yeah,
on how they played. Because I know a lot of people want to bring them down because we're losing both coordinators. But I didn't think that would play too much of a factor because yeah, the coordinators are gone, but they still got all those guys there. Like nobody important really just left,
yeah,
especially offensively. So I kind of thought there wouldn't be too much of a drop off. They didn't look too hot last week against Green Bay,
no,
so they're making me a little nervous. But kind of also like what I told one of the guys in the group chat separately. I kind of told him I was like, until I can see it consistently from Caleb Williams, I don't trust Chicago.
yeah,
I just think that they got the pieces there. They built up the offensive line. They gave him some more. Gave him another weapon in Loveland and from in the tight end position. And Caleb is still missing throws that he should he should routinely make. I mean,
yeah,
he missed the go route for DJ Moore late in that fourth quarter last Monday. That's supposed to fit between the corner and safety where DJ was there, and he just, completely missed him. It went all the way left to the sideline, a throw that he should normally make. So
yeah,
I just, I don't know. Until I can see it from Chicago, I am very hesitant on them. So I think Detroit bounced back, them being at home, inside, in that dome, on that
yeah.
turf, they should be right back to where they are, and I think they'll bounce back. I'm gonna take Detroit as well. All right, over in the AFC East, two teams that we both mentioned earlier in this podcast meeting up for a big divisional matchup. Who would have thought? But it's going to be the Buffalo Bills going down and taking on the New York Jets. Man, who you got in this one?
I'm picking the Bills. I'm not gonna think about this too much. I'm gonna pick the Bills. This is if the Jets played they did this past Sunday, the Bills are on. I know there's not upset alert in the NFL, but the Bills are on upset alert. Uh, having given up a lead like they are, yes, giving up a lead like they did to Baltimore. If the Jets can repeat some of that or make this a game, I they have the guys on offense and on defense to be able to make plays to go win them the ball game. So I'm gonna go with Buffalo. I'm gonna go with Buffalo on the road. Like I said, I think they just looking at week one. They look like one of the better teams in the National Football League. But the Jets could push them to the brink. I think 6.5 is a lot. I think that's a lot, especially being a road team.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna go Buffalo, but the Jets could be, like you said, they could be a team to be reckoned with.
yeah, I legit man. I think yeah, if they play like that every week or every other week, that's a scary team because they may can get one that they're not supposed to, and they get you on a week where you thought, oh, it's the Jets. It's like, no, these ain't the same old Jets. So that's gonna be tough. But I agree. I'm gonna take Buffalo. Um, as much as I don't think that Josh Allen deserved that MVP last season, that last 4 or 5 minutes of game time last week against Baltimore showed why he ended up getting
Yeah,
it. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
no doubt,
Like,
no doubt.
I still don't think he should have won it, but that right there would make me be like, all right, you got it.
So for
You
sure,
got
he
it.
played like
I can't
no doubt.
respect. I can't even be mad at it. He looked amazing, man. And Keon Coleman, stepped up big
Yes, he
too for
did.
sure. I think he's
Shout
due
out
for
to
a
him.
breakout year.
Yeah,
Um, I think he's definitely due for a breakout year. They've been waiting on this for sure to for him to present himself to be that wide receiver number one. I
Yeah.
know some folks may think it's Khalil Shakir, um, but I think they want that to be Keon Coleman. So, um, yeah, I'm gonna take the Bills as well. I think it's gonna be a close game. 6.5 is probably pushing it if it goes the way I think it goes. But I think the Bills will come out on top for sure. All right, next game on tap. It's a big one. We got the rematch from Super Bowl 59. Uh, the last time we saw these two teams play probably shocked everybody because we thought it was going to be such a great game. But, man, the Eagles ended up BTA on the
Blessing the
Chiefs,
boys.
man. Bust them boys. So, man, we got the rematches in Arrowhead. Um, Eagles and the Chiefs. Who you got in this one?
It's kind of confused how this game ended up in Kansas City, but I digress. Uh, I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I'm rolling with the Eagles on this one. I don't know if their issues up front have been answered, being the Chiefs with their offensive line. They did pay some guys, they did bring some guys in. We're gonna find out on Sunday because of the way that the Eagles did. I know some guys are gone from that defensive line with the from the Eagles, but um, I think the Eagles are the more physical team. The Chiefs are definitely going to be inspired. They're definitely going to be inspired, especially having gotten embarrassed in the Super Bowl and having them at home. That stadium is going to be rocking. Um, but I'm gonna go with the Eagles. Look, I know he didn't have a big game in the Super Bowl. Look for Saquon Barkley. I think he's going to be motivated because he was kind of the vocal point of the game plan for Kansas City, stopping him, and it'll probably be the same this Sunday as well. Look for Saquon to come out and be motivated to have a big game. I think he has a big game, and I think the Eagles find a way to get a road win against the Chiefs.
Yeah. I'm taking the Eagles too. And I think it's going to be a repeat of the Super Bowl. I don't think it's going to be close.
Wow.
I don't think it's going to be close. The Chiefs, without Xavier Worthy, looked
Yeah.
awful. Um, they have nobody else that can have the ability to take the top off defense.
Yeah.
Um, the pass protection from the O line is still a bit shaky. Travis Kelce is getting long in the tooth, so you know that wiggle ain't wiggling the same as it once was 5 6 years
Yeah.
ago. It's just not. It's reality, man. And I mean, and usually you could kind of be okay with it, like them being at home, because you feel like okay, they'll handle the business, they'll find a way. Uh, but it's just something about them this year I'm not liking. I
Yeah.
don't know, like I still would kind of put my reserve out there to say until somebody else from the West takes it from them, I will still give the Chiefs the benefit of the doubt.
Understandable.
Until somebody takes it away from them, it kind of feels like with the Patriots and Tom Brady in the AFC East. Until somebody takes it away from them, I can't just put the Chargers or the Broncos on that pedestal just yet to win the division. I think they're playoff teams, but we're talking about winning the division, something that somebody hasn't done there in the AFC West, and we're talking about what 8 9 years.
Something like
Uh,
that. Yeah.
so it's been a little minute, but I something about the Chiefs I'm just not liking. Um, you want to talk about somebody who's going to be motivated, going to be game? Jalen Carter. The fact that he didn't get to play it down last week with
Yeah.
the whole spitting incident with Dak Prescott, they counted that game as the suspension game because he really didn't even play
They say yeah.
as a down. And so now, I'm pretty sure he's going to be out there motivated, fired up to be like, I missed the whole game. I got fined a game check. You know what I'm saying? Now I got to come back out there and get ready to play, man. So I'm taking the Eagles, and I don't think it's gonna be close. I think they blow them out the water. I think they blow them out the water, man. I don't know. I think offensively the Eagles will look sharp, like you said. Saquon will be there. I think they'll get more balance because the weather delay pretty much killed that Eagles Cowboys game.
Yeah.
When the weather delay happened, it was awful at that point. But yeah, I'm taking the Eagles, and I don't think it's close. I don't think it's
Okay.
close.
Okay.
All right, then we got the final game on tap here for our pick'ems in the NFL. Monday Night Football, the first game of the doubleheader. We got two divisional winners from their respective division meeting each other. It should be an interesting matchup. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going out to Houston to take on the Houston Texans. Who you got in this one?
Oh, man. I want to take Houston, man. They didn't fire me up the other day against the
Yeah,
Rams.
they didn't look too hot. I mean, Rams defense is solid, but
Yeah. Yeah. And Tampa Bay's defense is, I don't know if they're the Rams good, but I think they're a solid defense as well. I do think that the Rams will get back, excuse me, the Rams. The Texans will get back on track. Uh, as much as this hurts my Dirty Birds, I think I'm going to go Tampa Bay. Then we go Tampa Bay. I think their offense gets rolling a little bit sooner than what it did this past Sunday against Atlanta. And I think that CJ Stroud definitely in the offense. I do think they pick it up and they get back on track. But I'm gonna go with Baker. I think Baker, Mike Evans, Mecca Book. I think those guys get on a little roll in this game. I do think it's going to be a shootout. I do think it's going to be a shootout. But I'm gonna go Tampa Bay. Unfortunately,
yeah, I'm with you. I want to take Houston too, but the fact that they still don't have Joe Mixon out there, um, so I don't know how they're going to run the ball. It's already hard enough to run the ball on that Tampa Bay defense. I mean, we seen it firsthand last week
yeah,
with Atlanta. I mean, sure, Bijan got over 100 yards all purpose, but 100 of it came from receiving, and half of it came on one catch.
yeah,
So I mean, I don't know, man. That Tampa defense, it's so hard to run on, especially with Big Vita Vea right there plugging up the middle. Golly, just imagine if they would have able to get Desmond Watson together. Oh, I don't even want to. I don't even want to get started on that. But
yeah.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I think the offense would get off to a better start than they did last week against Atlanta. Um, Emeka Ibuka showed why he deserved to get that draft pick, why they went up there and got him.
Yep,
He made two huge plays, both for touchdowns. Um, Mike Evans is still going to do what he has to do, and they're doing all this without Chris Godwin. There's
yep,
no Chris Godwin here yet, so waiting for him to return back. So yeah, as much as I don't want to pick them, if Houston would have played a little bit better last week, I might have would have been
yeah,
like, I think they got a chance, and they at home, so they always have a chance. But
yeah.
I mean, I feel like for our Dirty Birds' sake, we hope that we wrong.
Yes,
Honestly,
yeah,
this is one that we hope that we wrong on. But I'm with you. I'm taking Tampa Bay as well. I think it'll be a good game though. They had a good game against each other a couple of years ago,
yeah,
or
yeah,
not too long ago. That was high scoring and was a crazy game, last minute,
yeah.
touchdowns and everything like that. So I think we'll be due for another game right there for sure. That's going to be a good high scoring game, but in the end, I think Tampa Bay has a little too much for Houston, and I'm gonna take the Bucks as well. Dang, we agreed on all
Yep.
four, bro.
We did it. We did it.
Somebody. Well, we'll see though.
We'll
We might
see.
make it through. We might make it through, but man, can't wait. We too NFL, which is already going. So, can't wait for that. So we're gonna shift gears over now to college football. Um, Going on with that, going into I guess technically the fourth week, but week 3, if you want to
Yeah.
count week 0 too as well. So, um, it's been a crazy 2 weeks in college football already. Man, what are your takeaways that you've seen from the first 2 weeks of the college football season? What's grabbed your attention so far?
First thing, we've put too much pressure on these young quarterbacks. And I want to say specifically the SEC seeing all the new quarterbacks. This might be the first time. I mean, I don't. This is the first time in a long time, man, where you have Alabama has a new quarterback. I know Texas just joined, but Texas has a new quarterback. Um, Alabama, new quarterback. You have a lot of Tennessee, new quarterback. Kentucky, new quarterback. Uh, who else?
Technically, Georgia,
Technically, Georgia,
new
new
quarterback.
quarterback. Like, you got a lot of teams that have unproven guys playing quarterback. Even if you wanted to go to Oklahoma, yeah, John Mateer played at Washington State,
Yeah,
but new quarterback.
new quarterback. Yeah,
Yeah. But I think the biggest thing is us as fans and people who enjoy watching college football. Allow these quarterbacks to figure this out before we start giving them these awards and this and that and all that stuff. Before we start crowning them to be the kingpin.
yeah,
Let's play a couple games and get up under the belt. To me, I think this thing is wide open. I know it's only been 2 weeks. I think it's wide open. I think the SEC is wide open. I think the Big Ten is going to come down to the normal teams that has been in the past. But just as a whole, nationally, Ohio State looked good 2 weeks ago against Texas. Um, you don't know what you're going to get from Penn State because they haven't played anybody. They're playing FCS Southeast again this week, so we still won't know. We still won't know about them until probably Oregon comes to town.
yeah,
Um, so I think this college football, these 2 weeks, first 2 weeks, have been, especially last week there really weren't any real matchups
Oh
for.
yeah, last week was a whole lot of money
Yeah,
games.
so
Whole lot of money games.
now this week we're getting into you got some conference games going on, you got some non-conference games that are big time matchups. So here in these coming weeks, we're about to start finding out about some of these squads and teams are going to start separating themselves. But I think my biggest takeaway, man, is like we gotta let these quarterbacks, we gotta let them play the games. We can't jump the gun when it comes to crowning some of these guys. Um, they're going to have their lumps and their bumps and things like that. And we got to let them have them. We got to let them have those mistakes because they're going to have them. But yeah, that'd be my biggest takeaway. It's just the quarterback play over the first 2 weeks is not what the fans expected out the gate. I'll say it like that.
Yeah, I like that. For me, my first 2 weeks, my takeaway is kind of looking into the conferences, and honestly, you can probably say that the ACC has had the best overall look out of conferences to me. I mean, outside of outside of probably Ohio State and LSU with their non-conference wins, respectively, over Texas and Clemson, you could say that the ACC has had the best non-conference wins. I mean, Florida State dominated Alabama. We talking about that was an eighth-ranked Alabama. I
Yeah.
say what you want to say. New quarterback in it. That's Alabama.
Yep.
Okay, Florida State looked. I mean, they looked like a whole new, completely different team
Mm-hmm.
down there in Tallahassee this year. I mean, granted, there are new guys, but I'm saying like they
Yeah.
don't have like that same. It almost feels like that old Florida State swagger was back, like from
Yeah.
like a couple years ago, instead
For
of like the
sure.
2-10 team that was there last season. That
No
was
doubt.
a big win against Alabama to start off the year. I don't care what you say.
Yeah.
That was a big win, and then you also got to look at Miami, right? Getting in Carson Beck coming in from Georgia, how would he look? Adding in these guys that they got, a couple of freshmen coming in, and first game they opened up against Notre Dame, and I mean they look good. That was a big win against Notre Dame. We're talking about a team that was playing for a national championship last season in Notre
Mm.
Dame. So that was kind of like my biggest takeaways is how the ACC has looked. I originally was gonna say until that team in Gainesville kind of messed it up. I was going to say that the actual states of Florida, which essentially I can probably still say that, add another team, but the state of Florida look like is back,
Yeah,
like is which is which is essential to college football. Growing up, you were used to seeing Miami look good. You were used to seeing Florida State look good. At least for our era and age.
yes,
You used to seeing Florida State having good years, Miami
yep,
having good years, Florida having good years. I know it's still early in the season. They had that bad loss last week to South Florida, but you're used to seeing those three
yeah,
teams competing, being in the conversations for national championship contention or, their respective conference contention. Of course, down the road, we're going to see Florida State and Miami play each other. So if they keep the way that they're going, that's going to be a big matchup once again, like always, how it always has been. So,
yeah,
um, that was originally what I was gonna kind of go with until Florida kind of messed it up themselves. But I
yeah,
kind of just had to leave it to the ACC because they kind of had the best non-conference wins out of everybody so far. Probably, like I said, outside of probably LSU and Ohio State with their
yeah.
wins, I think they were a little bit more impressive. But those are my two takeaways for sure for the
And and
first
I
2 weeks.
and I'll say this real quick: the ACC needs Florida State and Miami, but the ACC needs Florida State and Miami to be good. They need it, and I desperately because
Yeah,
Florida State and Miami, those are two of your flagship programs, and when they are not good, right? Clemson has been dominating over last decade and whatever last decade. When Florida State and Miami are good, that makes the ACC relevant again. Because what has been the gripe with the ACC, it is Clemson and everybody
nobody else.
else.
Yeah,
It's it. Who's winning the ACC? It's Clemson. Anybody else can contend? No, it's it. It's Clemson, and that's it. And that's it. So if you get Florida State and Miami back in that mix, now the ACC looks more desirable as a conference.
yeah,
They look more desirable as a conference. A lot of the flack that you caught over the last couple of years, especially like SMU had a great year last year. First year in the league, SMU coming from the AAC,
yeah.
SMU is in the conference championship, and SMU is a good football team now. They're a good football team last year for sure. But you got Florida State and Miami in the conference. Come on now, let's get it together. So if Florida State and Miami can continue this, and if they continue to look like they figured it out, the ACC looks with the addition of SMU and some of these other squads, Georgia Tech looking good. Some of these other teams like you bring some oomph to the ACC. Back to the ACC. So it's good that Florida State and Miami have been looking good over the first couple of weeks.
For sure, for sure, man. So, like we said, we've already seen, a couple of upset that has happened, within these first few weeks of the college football season, and now, like you said, getting into some of these games, getting into conference play, still a few non-conference games, and some big time matchups. Even if you're not even thinking about from like the Power Four perspective, there's still some great matchups that's coming up this week as well. Who do you have on upset alert this week?
Um, I'm just gonna do one game, man, and I hate that it's this one. South Carolina. South Carolina, you on upset alert. You have to play better on offense if you are going to win this game against Vanderbilt. Now, the game is at home at night. There was a 2-hour weather delay last week when they
Yeah,
played South Carolina State. And
yeah.
so there were a lot of fans still in the stands and everything like that. And they stayed around. But it probably still wasn't the same feel because of the delay and everything like that. This is a 7:45 kick. Weather's supposed to be fine. That place is going to be rocking. Diego Pavia played well against Virginia Tech. They went on the road and won up there in Blacksburg, which is a tough place to play.
And they were down at some. They were
They
down
had
in
to
that.
come back and
Yeah.
win. So the fact they had to come back and win looks good for Vanderbilt, but also the fact you had to come back and win, that also, if you get down to this South Carolina team, I don't know if you're going to be able to have a repeat performance. He's confident. This is a game that Vanderbilt and Pavia have had circled on their schedule since last year. They think that they are better than this South Carolina team, and they feel confident walking into Williams-Brice Stadium on Saturday night. You got to play better on offense. You cannot rely on special teams to carry the load as far as scoring the football. It's a weapon, but if I am any special teams coordinator from this point of the season on, I'm playing South Carolina, and number 4 is back there. The man returned 2 punts last week, and one of them was short. He's picked the ball up and took it back to the crib. He's not getting any opportunity. The ball is going. I'm punting the football out of bounds.
Right.
If you punt it to him, you will no longer be the punter. Get the ball out of bounds, period. But South Carolina's on upset alert. You got to play better on offense. You got to be more consistent on offense if you're going to win in the SEC, and if you're going to win this game against a Vanderbilt team who looks better than they did last year. You got to play better offensively. Lenore Sellers, he's got to get it going. Mike Shula, those guys over there on that side of the ball. So I'm gonna go South Carolina.
That's crazy because that was one of mine too. That was one of mine too.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like just because like you mentioned. I mean, the offense for South Carolina hasn't been that great the past 2 weeks. So it was okay against
yeah.
Virginia Tech, but you know the defense kind of saved them in that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then last week, I get it. I mean, a lot of teams out that way on the East Coast and out this way, had to deal with the weather delays and everything like that. So they kind of put a dent and everything. So, won't charge you too much against nobody. But at the same time, it was South Carolina State.
Yes.
It's kind of like, okay, but that for sure, I got South Carolina on upset alert. So I won't take too much time on that one. But the other one I got, I'm gonna have to go I'm gonna have to go to the hometown for this one, Memphis on upset alert, playing against a Troy team that
Yeah.
gave Clemson a run for their money last week. I get it, the weather delay and all that stuff was going on there too. They
Mm-hmm.
had Clemson down 16-3 at one point or
Yeah.
something like that. So you know, Troy had them boys on the ropes for sure. Memphis only favored by 3.5. I think that's very respectable. That
Mm-hmm.
lets you know just how close of a game it was. They also struggled last week against a Georgia State team. Same thing. I know they was probably dealing with the delays and everything like that because the
Yeah.
rain was kind of happening all out in that area all throughout the weekend. I know it affected even the Friday night football games here in Tennessee.
Yeah.
It was crazy. But I'm definitely putting Memphis on upset alert, man. They got to be careful. They struggled last week against Georgia State for a bit, and now going against this Troy team who got Clemson around for their money. This won't be easy. So if I'm the Tigers, I y'all better lock in. That's
Lock it
all I can
in.
say. Y'all better lock in, man. Y'all better lock in. All right. So we're gonna get right into it here for the pick'ems for college football. We got 5 games on tap. We're gonna try to see if we can keep that 5 game going throughout the week, which I think now as the season roll along, that'll probably be easier
Should
to
be able
do,
to.
easier to do and everything like that. For myself, overall, right now, the first two weeks, I'm pretty good.
Oh,
7-3,
okay.
7-3. Probably could have easily went 5-0 last week, but Kansas and Florida,
Oh Lord.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Kansas and Florida messed it up for your boy, but all good, all good. So we'll keep it rolling though,
Mm.
man. So first game on tap. Speaking of the ACC, we've been keeping talking about them a lot here. Big game down there in the A. We got 12th ranked Clemson, who, like I said, struggled a bit against Troy, going up against Georgia Tech. This is a big game, man. Big game. I don't know about you, which I'm pretty sure you probably agree with me on this, but I think that this Georgia Tech team can make a lot of noise this year in the ACC. I know
Mm.
there's Clemson and there's Miami, there's SMU. I think Georgia Tech is in that conversation, bro. That's just me. I think they're in that conversation. Who you got in this one?
I definitely think they can be in that conversation. This game right here is going to let us know a lot about Georgia Tech and if they can enter into that conversation. I'm taking Tech. I'm taking Tech. Kind of hard for me to pick Clemson. That's just a personal thing for me. But no, man, I'm gonna take Tech at home. I think Jamal Haynes, Haynes King, they're that Georgia Tech's running attack. It's it is simple what they do running the football, but the motions, the shifts, the different people that they have running the football, the plus one in the run game because they have the quarterback, Haynes King, running the ball as well. It is a lot on the defense. There's a lot of things that these guys have to look for and watch as far as this offense when they're on the football field. And then you have guys on the perimeter like a Malik Rutherford, like a Eric Rivers who can go out there and make plays down the field catching the football. I think this is a perfect recipe. And I think Clemson's going to play better because of how they looked last week against Troy. But Kay Klubnik really hasn't fired me up this year, over the last 2 weeks. Give me Tech at home, man. I'm taking Georgia Tech. Remember the wreck.
I like that. I can't sit up here and say that like I think Tech might be one of the ones to make some noise in the ACC and not pick them. So I'm gonna go with Georgia Tech too. Just the fact them being at home for this one. This is the first time Clemson going on the road. They've had two games at home. Them going on the road down there to Atlanta. Sure, it's gonna be an early kickoff game, but I think the fans is gonna be rocking.
Oh yeah.
This is probably the biggest game that Tech has probably had in a minute that
Yeah.
has some real meaning to it. Um, I just think Tech is gonna play kind of almost like a similar game of like how LSU played Clemson. Um, and like you said, Clay Klubnik really hasn't just lit it up like I thought he would
Mm-hmm.
this season so far because they got Clemson arguably probably has outside of Ohio State and what they do, they probably got one of the best wide receiver groups in the
Probably.
country. So I thought they would produce a little bit more, but I'm with you. I'm gonna take Georgia Tech. I'm gonna take Georgia Tech. I think this is the year that they for real make some noise. So why not start off with a bang and take out one of the favorites of the ACC?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take Georgia Tech. All right. Next game on tap here. We're gonna go down to the SEC. Big game in this one as well. We got sixth ranked Georgia traveling up to Knoxville to take on 15th ranked Tennessee. Um, like you mentioned, the two new quarterbacks here that's starting. We got Joey Aguilar out there for Tennessee, and then of course Gunnar Stockton that's replacing Carson Beck out there in Georgia. Who you got in this one?
I'm gonna take Tennessee, man. I Tennessee has looked good. Tennessee has been tested, having to play Syracuse. Um, Georgia hasn't played. They played Marshall and they played Austin P. They didn't look great last week against Austin P. There was some weather there as well. Can't believe everything on the weather though. Uh, Austin P is a FCS opponent. I think Austin P is going to be pretty solid this year. Just looking over the first 2 weeks, but there's Austin P, and you scored 28 points against that squad. You haven't been tested, and now you're going on the road to Tennessee, and we know what that's going to be on Saturday. And this would be Gunnar Stockton's first true road test, and you got to go to Knoxville for it. So with that, Tennessee being at home, like you said, Joey Aguilar, the comfortability of being at home in this game, I'm gonna take Tennessee because there. If this was in Athens, I would take Georgia. But with this being in Knoxville, I'm gonna take Tennessee to pull off an upset and beat the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, uh, Tennessee looks good, man.
It looks solid.
Tennessee looks good. They look real solid. I know a lot of people were probably kind of a little bit nervous to see like how they would look, knowing that of course, the whole incident that happened all over the off season with Nico,
Mm-hmm.
and then him leaving and going out to UCLA and trying to figure out who's going to be the starting QB there. Um, I mean, experience took over, man. I know a lot of people don't know much about Aguilar, but I mean, he's been around, man. He was at UCLA, he was at App State, so he's been around. He's seen a lot of ball. Um, I mean, like you said, man, Gunnar Stockton and that Georgia team going out there first test of the season is on the road in Neyland, over 100,000 people in orange and white going crazy. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. Tennessee looks great. I don't know, man. I don't know, but Georgia has won 8 straight.
Yeah.
Until I see it done, I'm taking the dogs. Give me Georgia until I see it done. This might be the year.
Yeah.
If Tennessee beats them, I won't be upset about it. I won't be surprised because I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee got this one. Because I mean they do, man. They look great. Like I said, it's a difference playing Georgia in September and then playing Georgia,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
November. Like, yeah, it's gonna be a whole different story. But Tennessee might have a chance to go ahead and get this done, but until I see it done, man, I'm gonna take Georgia, man. I'm gonna
I'm
roll
with.
with
I
Georgia.
feel you. I feel you.
All right, so next game we got here on tap, going down to Florida. Man, who would have thought that this would be such a big game early in
Mm-hmm.
the season, man? But we got undefeated 18th ranked South Florida going down to take on 5th ranked Miami. Of course, as you know, South Florida went down to Gainesville and got that big upset win against the Gators. Of course, like we talked about, Miami had that big win against Notre Dame, and they handled business against Bethune last week. So, big matchup here, man. Who you got in this one?
This is a setup for a game where Miami gives us a head scratcher and goes out here and loses. After having seen what UCF did to Florida and not really taking them serious and going out there losing the football game. I'm taking Miami. I'm going to take Miami to win the game. But they better be on their P's and Q's because South Florida can play defense. They play hard. They run to the football. They tackle well. And if Miami does not take them serious, they will lose this football game because South Florida is coming in there confident. They already went to Gainesville. They went to Gainesville and won a football game. The Hard Rock and Ben Hill Griffin Stadium is not the same thing. It's not the same home field advantage. So they better come ready to play because if not, the Bulls will be 3-0 walking out of Miami with a dub. And we'll be sitting there looking at Miami and Cristobal again like, same old Miami.
Man,
Same old Miami.
hopefully, for me, maybe Florida was looking ahead to LSU because
Possible.
it could be possible. Maybe they was looking ahead and they just, like you said, didn't take South Florida serious. And Miami plays Florida next week. So I'm hoping, like you said, I'm hoping Miami isn't looking ahead to like, well, this South Florida, we gonna worry about Florida.
Next week. Uh-huh.
But we already seen South Florida pull off 2 ranked wins. I mean, first
Yes.
week was Boise State. It was
Yep.
25th ranked, and they put the beating on them real good. You know what I'm saying? And then they go down and they hung around down there in Gainesville and found a way to get the win there, man. But I think it's gonna be closer than expected. That spread is 17.5 for Miami.
Yeah.
Um, South Florida covered last week on the 17.5 spread to Florida. I mean, well, they won outright, so that was even more crazy. I mean, I'm gonna take Miami, but I wouldn't be surprised if they was in like you said, they kind of had you a little nervous where you like, okay,
Yeah.
Miami, like y'all keep saying y'all back, but here y'all go, doing this again,
Uh-huh.
everything like that, man. But we'll see. But I'm with you. I'm gonna take Miami, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's close. All right, next game we got on tap here. Another big matchup in the SEC. This probably would have been the game of the week if somebody would have held up their end of the deal. But it's still a good game nonetheless.
No doubt.
Florida head down there to Baton Rouge, Death Valley taking on third ranked LSU. Um, man, who you got in this one?
I'm taking LSU. LSU at home at night.
Ugh,
Perfect storm.
yeah.
I do think Florida's going to play better. I think they come out and play expired. I think they got embarrassed. I think they are embarrassed. So I think they will play better. This could be big for Florida's season. Um, if they win this game, if they lose this game, you could talk about. Granted, it will only be one loss in the SEC, but when you're talking about a playoff spot, if you don't win the SEC, that loss to South Florida and a potential loss to LSU could be the nail in the coffin, and you're going into week 4. So I do think Florida plays better, but LSU, man, they might be. I don't even know if dark horse, if they're even a dark horse, but they could be a dark horse for a natty, man. Their defense looks great, looks way better compared to last year, and all the weapons that Garrett Nussmeier and Brian Kelly have to throw the football to hand the football off to. I just think it's a lot with DJ Lagway going down there to Death Valley at night. I like LSU to get the win.
Yeah, Florida's in trouble, bro. Florida's in trouble. I mean, you you pretty much you couldn't the way that their schedule is set up, they couldn't afford a loss like to South Florida.
Yeah.
Honestly, they really could. They needed all the non-conference wins and some of these that they can get because LSU this week, Miami next week, Texas, Texas A&M, Mississippi State, but hey, they upset Arizona State. Then you got the Georgia Florida game in Jacksonville. Finish out the season with Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Florida State.
I mean, them boys, they don't catch a break.
The only little break they get is Kentucky. Probably, you know what I mean?
Maybe. And they gave Ole Miss. They gave Ole Miss
All
everything
they
they
can
wanted.
handle. So I mean, like, I don't know, man. Florida's in trouble. I'm taking LSU. Um, Night game, Death Valley.
Yeah.
It's gonna be rocking. I mean, this is just it's a recipe for disaster. Even if Florida was still ranked, I think I still would have took LSU because
Yeah.
that LSU defense is excuse my language, man, but they play pissed off.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they are playing like they are starting to play like we ain't gonna be the reason why we lost. Because a
Yeah.
lot of times last year they were the reason why they lost. The way that they playing now is like, no, we not gonna be the reason why we lost. If we lose, it ain't gonna be on us.
Yeah.
Like the way that they, last week against FCF Northwest, whoever it was they was
Yeah.
playing, like you said, but that Clemson game, the way that they shut them down like that, bro, they gained all my respect for sure. And that defense was like, we not having that again this year.
Uh-huh.
It was that motive like we not having this happen to us again this year. We too talented. We got too many guys to where this shouldn't be happening like that. So I think it's still gonna be a good game though. I mean, Florida got the talent there obviously to hang around and everything like that. But I think in the end it's gonna be too much LSU, especially with it being a night game. I'm taking LSU. Man, and then we got the last game here on tap. Also a night game as well. A big rematch from last season, early in the year. That was a great game last year. We get to see it again. We got 16th ranked Texas A&M going up to South Bend this year and playing 8th ranked Notre Dame. We hadn't seen Notre Dame since the Miami game, since the loss. They were off last week, so a week to prepare and get themselves back right. Who you got in this one?
I'm taking Notre Dame. I A&M 2-0. Who have they played? They play UTSA. They play Utah State. Gave them 24, 22 points. They handled the game, won by 20 plus points or whatever in both those games or whatever. 18 and one, 20 and another. But Notre Dame, new quarterback, going on the road, coming back and losing that game by 3 points. As good as Miami looked, Notre Dame looked good as well and came back and lost the game by 3 points on the road. Had the off week. Now they have a chance to redeem themselves against Texas A&M, who at certain points in those games looked a little shaky. Ultimately, they came back and came out and handled their business. But I just think going up to South Bend on the road, playing Notre Dame team who's going to be looking to right the ship, give me Notre Dame. Give me Notre Dame at home. Lee Corso used to say all the time, never go against the Catholic. So I'm roll with shout out to Lee Corso.
Shout out
I'm
Lee
rolling with
Corso.
Lee. I'm taking Notre Dame.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I'm not gonna lie. Like I like Marcel Reed. I like what A&M has. But even for like his first start a couple weeks ago against Miami, CJ Carr, um, he
Yeah.
played pretty poised. I mean, it took him a minute. Of course, that first quarter or so to kind of get everything together. But the fact that he just kept fighting, and they got real close to having a chance at least to get down there for a potential game time field goal or everything like that. But just not enough time. Time ran out on them. I think now going up here at home, a big game at home, the first game up there with that Notre Dame crowd. I'm taking Notre Dame too. I think they'll bounce back with a big way. A&M is going to be solid, but not yet.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll get there yet. I think they'll hang with Notre Dame for about probably majority of the game. I think it's going to be close, a competitive game. But I think in the end, CJ Carr and Notre Dame finds a way to pull it out. I'm going to take the Irish as well. Man, so big week of football, big weekend of football. and we also got a big weekend in the sports of boxing.
Yeah.
Uh, man, a fight in the making that you probably didn't think you would never see, that you would only put
Yeah.
together in a video game.
Yeah.
you know, everything like that, man. Two of the best pound for pound boxers in the sport right now. Man, one of the two of the best boxers in their era. Getting ready to make a huge clash here. We got Terence Bud Crawford going up against Saul Canelo Alvarez. Um, Meeting at 168 for a super middleweight, undisputed super middleweight championship. We got Bud Crawford essentially going up 3 weight classes.
Yeah.
He's been at 147. I know his last fight last year against Madrimov was at 154, but that was really only his first fight. So going up from 147 to 168 against one of the greatest in this era, man, and Canelo, man. What you think about this, and who you got in this one?
I love it. I love it. I
I
love the
mean, this
fact
this
that
is yeah, this is what we've been asking for. We've been
yeah,
trying to.
I love the fact that you have two guys who are at the top of the boxing world that said, "You think you the best? I think I'm the best. Let's get to it." And shout out to Terence Crawford for now. This the second time doing something like this because we had the big super fight with him and Earl Spence a couple years ago, and now Canelo. I don't think Canelo was hiding, but it's time for you. If you want to fight and you want to see you the guy, all right, here it is. Bud Crawford is undefeated. He ain't lost not one time. What you gonna do? And we know Canelo Alvarez. We know his record and the history of him and what he's been able to do and what he's done for the sport of boxing as well. It's just a great matchup. This is a great thing for boxing, especially with, and I'll continue to say it, with what the UFC is doing and how when the fans want to see a fight, they put the fight together. That's it. The fans want to see it. It's two guys at that time, the two best guys, they're going to fight for the championship. It's done. It's over with. Boxing is different. I doubted Bud one time, the last time he was in a mega fight, and I lost. I'm not doing it again. I'm taking Bud. I got Bud. I think that he just has a different. He's just different. He's a different dude, and I think when the when he's not favored and the odds are stacked against him, I think that's when he comes out and puts on the show. In that Earl Spence fight, as much Bud's undefeated, da 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 da. Earl Spence was the bigger fighter. Earl Spence had the most belts, all the belts except for the one. Earl Spence had fought a bunch of dudes who have fought better competition up to that point than Terence Crawford because of promotions and all that type of stuff. Who's the A side, the B side, all that stuff going into that fight. Everything looked like everybody was picking Earl Spence. Everybody was picking Earl Spence. And we saw what happened. I ain't gonna relive that. Shout out to Earl Spence. That's my guy. All right. Going into this one, he's going up a couple weight classes. Canelo Alvarez has XYZ, all these all these different world championships. He's fought this guy, that guy, da 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 da. Everything now, him going up to 68, that's a big jump. Naturally, Canelo is the bigger fighter, so he's going to have to combat that. But we've seen it before. We saw it before, and I think Bud is going to go in there and handle business. I don't think he's going to knock him out. I'm not saying he's going to go in there and knock him out. No, that Bud got the power to do it, but I'm not going to say he's going to go in there and knock him out or anything like that. But Bud, with everything stacked against him, he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's got something to prove. I'm taking Bud Crawford. I'm not. I am not down him anymore. I got Bud and Canelo. He's fought a bunch of great fighters. These last couple fights he's had though, there's been a bunch of cupcakes. Just say that. There's been a bunch of cupcakes. He really ain't fought nobody the last couple times. So this is gonna be a big step up in competition for Canelo at this point in his career. So um, I think Terence Crawford gets it done, and I think he beats Canelo Alvarez Saturday night.
Yeah. I was I was watching the clip earlier today with Andre Ward and Roy Jones Jr. And they were kind of sitting up here discussing this fight. And I know people want to harp on like the size and the weight and everything like that. But honestly, when I first saw Canelo and Bud stand face to face, it was after the William Skull fight, and it pretty much got announced that like these two was about to get ready and get it on. As I'm kind of looking at them, Canelo may be naturally bigger than Bud, but I don't think it's that much of a difference in size like people think it is.
Yeah,
Because you also got to look at it like, okay, yeah, Bud is going up to 168, but think about where he wasn't like a natural 147, so it wasn't like
yeah,
147
that's
was his
true.
walking weight. So in reality, his natural weight probably is 175, 180. So he was cutting down to 147. He's essentially just cutting down to 168. So he it's not as much, you know what I'm saying? It's not as much
Yeah,
like cutting as he needs to do, like how he was going down probably for 40 and 47 and maybe even 54. Um, and I know people looked at his last fight against Madrimov and probably was like, yeah, I wasn't that impressed, but Madrimov was he had like over like 300, 400 amateur fights. He was very slick in the ring, and I think Bud adjusted and he pulled around. He pulled off in the later rounds
yeah,
to get the win. And I think it's because we got so used to seeing Bud knocking people out
yeah.
that we thought that he could come back and just do that at 154, which
Do the
is,
same. Yeah,
that's different because these guys are going to be bigger. And that's the reason why they got weight classes, right? So I mean,
for sure.
I get it. Canelo is going to be probably the naturally bigger guy. So I think if anybody knocks anybody out, it would be Canelo. It would be Canelo. If anybody was to knock anybody out, it would be Canelo, just because he is the naturally bigger fighter.
Yes.
However, in the two losses that we seen Canelo Alvarez has,
Mm-hmm.
what was the key to those losses that he suffered? The guys that he lost to were able to move around in the ring, and I ain't talking about running. They moved around, effective punching. They had great footwork. We know the footwork about Floyd Mayweather. I don't even have to touch into that.
Mm-hmm.
Dimitri Bivol, when he moved up to 175, tried to fight Bivol. Same type of footwork. He moved. Canelo, yes, he has the power, but he's very flat footed. Very flat footed. He can cut the ring off, but he's not that great to me at cutting off the ring. And I don't think, unlike the Skull fight and the Berlanga fight and the last few fights that like Canelo's had against those opponents, I don't think that Bud naturally ain't gonna do no running. Right?
No.
He's gonna stand there and like take the fight to him. So I think we gonna get some explosive stuff. Now I am interested to see if Canelo hits Bud with a good shot, how well does he take it?
Yeah.
Because this will be like his first time feeling like some true power from somebody that's naturally bigger than Bud. But I just feel like I'm with you, bro. Like I chose Bud in the Spence fight. I just so you know I but I just think Bud is gonna find a way to be active in the ring. I'm with you. I don't think he knocks him out. I'd be shocked if he did.
If you put him down,
I'd
yeah.
be shocked if he put him down because I don't think Canelo has never touched the canvas that, to my knowledge. I don't think so. Not even in the fights that he had with Triple G, which I ain't gonna get into that. I ain't gonna get into that. That's been years ago, you know. But they robbed you, my boy. They robbed you, Triple G. I ain't gonna get into that though. They one of
Yeah.
those. We'll leave it at that. Um, but Canelo has never touched the canvas, man. So even in the losses, he lost on the points, and I think Bud would just be effective. He'll have the clean punching. He'll make Canelo look slow, and I think that even as the rounds get later on into the rounds until the fight, I don't think fatigue would necessarily be a factor for either one. But I just think there's another there's another space in his mental, him being Bud, that
Yeah,
he
yeah,
just
yeah.
will go into
Yeah.
to just. I mean, because we seen it before. The Sean Porter fight, like he in the corner, you know what I'm saying? They look, he like, oh, I'm losing? Y'all say I'm losing? And what he do?
But,
He go finish the fight. So I mean,
yeah.
it's like there's like another realm that man taps into, that just where he's like his will to win. Like bruh hate losing.
Yeah. That's it.
Like
Like,
he hate
definitely.
losing. So I just feel like he's gonna prove all the doubters wrong once again. And I think Bud picks up the win. Now, would I be surprised if Canelo ended up winning? No. Because I mean it's Canelo Alvarez. I'll tell you this right now. I'm a bona fide Canelo hater. I can't stand him.
Yeah, I knew that. I was waiting to see if you were gonna
I'll admit it.
put it out there. And I
I'll
did.
admit it. I'm a bona fide Canelo hater, and not hating on the fact of like his skill. I don't hate his skill because he has great skill. I just hate that like it took something like this to finally get him to want to fight somebody that can match like his skill level or his power. Like he has so
There's
many
been a
other
lot
guys
of guys.
that he could have been fighting. Yeah,
Benavidez, Charlo.
yeah,
Like there's been a lot of
yeah. He
guys.
had a lot of guys that he could have been fighting, and he's you know choosing to fight. Now, over his overall resume, amazing. I can't
Yeah,
deny that. I mean, he's fought some of the greatest fighters out here. Can't
yeah.
deny that. But just lately, I hadn't been impressed. So what makes me think that he's going to turn it on for this one? And he just may. So I don't know. This is a this is a true 50-50 fight. But the last time we also said that this was a true 50-50 fight was the Spence and Bud fight. And we like I won't touch on it neither, but we remember what happened. So it's just I don't know, man. It's tough. But in the end, I'm taking Bud Crawford too, man. I just think he's just gonna tap into that second realm that he got to where he just you know he'll have it figured. Something about it tells me he will have Canelo figured out. I don't know when it'll happen. I don't know what round, but there's gonna be something to where it clicks for him. He's like, I got him.
Gotcha.
I got him. Like it. He has that. Tank also has that too. Like you can tell, like when he's like, "Oh, I've downloaded the information. I got you." Him and Bud are like the ones that like has that. But I'm gonna be interested to see. Like I said, also too going into the later rounds, what happens? Like if does Bud get fatigued with like holding on with that weight too?
Yeah,
But I feel like he's gonna be so close to like his natural weight. Is that really gonna bother him? Like
yeah,
what I'm saying, people think. So I don't know, but I think it's gonna be a good fight, though. I think it's gonna be a good fight. Um, it's gonna be interesting to see, but yeah, in the end, I'm taking Bud Crawford too, man.
yeah.
Man, so as we get ready to wrap up another episode here, man, anything you wanna say out here to the people, man?
Man, just grateful to be back. Grateful to be able to do another show. Appreciate the patience, and more content will be on the way. My guy Sanders, he's been holding it down, man. I've been busy, but it's been good. So I'm just glad to be back. Like I said, we're in September. Still got another 4 months to accomplish the thing that you want to accomplish in 2025. Crazy that we're here at this point in the year, but uh, still, it's still out. Your goals and the things you want to do are still out in front of you. There's still time to do those things. Continue to stay safe, stay prayed up. Um, tell your loved ones that you love them. Let them know that you love them. And we'll see you on another episode, man.
Yeah, same thing for me. I don't have nothing too different to say either, man. Um, be safe out here, man. Y'all enjoy this time with y'all loved ones. Enjoy wherever you are. I guess unless it's raining, enjoy the weather that you have. As we get ready here to transition into that fall weather here in the next couple of
Yeah,
weeks. Yeah, y'all. Yeah, just be safe out here, man. Stay on y'all P's and Q's. Check in on your people. Um, all that good stuff. Um, just continue to keep your mental in a good headspace. I know sometimes it can be challenging out here with so much that goes on to the world, but continue to try to for sure keep that mental in a good headspace.
yeah.
Um, as always, man, love black women, cherish black women, protect black women. No means no.
No means no.
Well, I know we deep into the school year now for some of y'all, man. For some folks, homecoming season starting to pick up,
Yeah,
here in a few weeks. So, just enjoy yourselves, man. But for sure, protect yourselves. That men and women for sure. Um, man, yeah, and that's pretty much all I got to say, man. Continue to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on all the social medias. We appreciate the support. Uh, man, till the next time, this has been another episode of the Easy Money Sports Podcast.
peace.